Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap. This is our pre-market trade plan setup where we take a look at the market, macro to micro, the structure of the market, drill down, and then determine where our trade levels are going to be, what our targets are for the day, and what our main hypothesis is. If you're interested in finding out more information about our room, it is a subscription room. Send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com or give me a call, 647-545-8065. Love to talk about the markets. Before we get going, I do have to do a disclaimer. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the business of trading. It's not for the trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument follows the risk loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, your own trade metrics. Okay, so let's just get the news out of the way. We had ADP, non-farm employment change, really not too much difference, 200K versus 192 expected versus 186 previous. Canadian GDP month over month came in slightly better at 0.3 versus 0.2. And then at 9:45, we have Chicago PMI. That's 15 minutes after the RTH session opens, so be careful on that first 15 minutes. And then there's really nothing until 10:30 for crude, and then the big one will be again at 3 o'clock when Yellen starts speaking, Yellen at the markets. So let's take a look at, I forgot to open it up. Let me just do that. So there's our trade level results from yesterday. We were using this line right here at 1877.75 is our key line in the sand. Above it, we wanted to be long into the overnight high at 86. We did go up there and test that next trade level at the midpoint. So we went back and tested the 50% of the significant breakout candle. That's why I always watch that. You guys have asked me about that in the past. Broke the IB to the upside on that move. Before that, we did go down and test the range low and tried to break out, and then they rallied back up. But once we got below this, we basically chopped around, and I must have shorted the 1877.25. I don't know how many times I did. I think it was like 8 or 9 times. And we just sort of chopped. It was very rotational yesterday. We were looking for a rotational day with a downside bias towards the overnight low. They gave us the overnight low and the overnight high yesterday, which is very rare. It didn't quite get to the overnight low. We missed it by 2 ticks, but very close. And we did break the IB to the low side, so we ended up with a neutral day. In fact, we closed the session at 1874.75, exactly where we opened it. So we ended up with a doji day. And if you remember, I think it was Marvin was asking, well, what should we expect with a doji day? And my response was, we'll probably get a bit of a rally up into the 1900s in the Globex, and we went up and tested 1900 and failed off of it so far. So it was a good trade plan. I didn't trade too bad. I kind of loose at times. I was mad at myself for a couple trades, but it was okay. Taking a look at the big picture. We did have the doji day, 2-day micro composite. VPOC is down here at 74. We're currently trading 94. We have the value area low. We've been watching this micro composite from the significant breakout candle on the 21st, 08/21 till now, and our value area is between 1975 and 1899.50, just above that 98.75. So 99.50 is going to be my key line in the sand today. Now, one thing we have to make note of is that today is the last day of the month. And usually a neutral day will begat a neutral day. In other words, we had a rotational day yesterday. We broke the IV to the high and the low. Today, we have a good probability we're going to do the same thing. But we have rallied and we are going to gap up. Now, critical mass, which is something that we have to be watching for, our average true range right now is 40.36. And off of the month open at 1957.50, our critical mass today kicks in at 1917 and a quarter. If we fail to get above 1917 and a quarter, then we have no way of running up into that 1957.50 to save the month and make the month the positive month versus a negative month. I don't think we have any chance. I mean, we'd have to have a pretty significant rally to do that. We'd have to have one of the biggest days. But you never know what they're going to throw at you, but I will be watching for capitulation at some point in time during the course of the day, especially if we fail to get into the 1900s. If we get into the 1900s, they might rally it and try to make it up into that my target to the upside. The 20-day ATR target to the upside right now off the low of the night at 1971 and a quarter is 2011.50, and that has been my main target above the 1900 level. Off of the high so far tonight, which has been 1900 and a quarter, the downside ATR target is 1859. 1860. I'm going to round that up just slightly. So we've got two targets there. If we fail to get above 1900, then I think we're going to get a rotational day with a downside bias down towards the 1875 and the overnight low, which is down at 1871 and a quarter. Right now, we're at this CHVN. This is a lot of area of undetermined fair value. Key support right now is going to be the range high from yesterday and the CLVN at 89.75. Below 89.75, I think you got a decent trade down into the 86.50, 85 level. Here, the value area high is 1985. So I think you got a good trade if we break back inside of yesterday. And then, of course, we would look for continuation. The key line in the sand below us still is going to be the 1877.75. Below that, then I think we take out the overnight low at 71. I think we come down and we visit the low from yesterday at 61 and possibly come down and test this 56 here. It's quite a big range. My initial hypothesis is that we're going to chop around from this 1350 down to this 1886.50. Possibly 1889 and reject yesterday's range and just chop around in this area. But if we get below the 89.50, then I'm looking for a bigger move down as my second hypothesis. But my main hypothesis is still a rotational day. I just don't know if it's going to be rotational with an upside bias into that 1150 or a downside bias into that 75, 71 area. I really think, as we move further along the morning and into the afternoon, if we failed, if we fail to get above the 1900s, then I think the capitulation will kick in and we'll see the lower projection versus the higher projection. So let's take a look at the overnight so far. We did rally off of 71. We opened at 74.75. right at the doji close. Our VPOC, our midpoint, our value, our VWAP, I should say, are all right there from yesterday. Came down, tested the 71 area a couple times, and then they rallied overnight, which was what we were expecting. And we're going to open up up here in the out of range and out of value as long as we hold above this 89.75 for the next 30 or 40 minutes. Currently right now, and that can change, we have an overnight high of 1900 and a quarter. And we have an overnight low of 71 and a quarter. Our overnight VPOC could shift up to 97.75, but it's currently at 96. Shifted yesterday on us just after we opened. And then we have an LVN right here at 93.75, which is just below us. I'm going to use that as a trade area. And then if we break below that, then I think we'll come down and get a move. And the target's going to be 91.50. And then, of course, the 89.75 is going to be, and I'm really going to use the 89.75 down to 88.75 because I want to be below the IB from yesterday. And then the first target inside of range but outside of value is going to be this little LVN here at 85.75. Which is also 2 times the VWAP from yesterday. And then once we're below 85, then I'm looking for a bigger move down into testing this level right here, which is the the value area high, and the 1.5 times the VWAP at 1880.50. There is also something else at 1881.50. I can't see what it is right now. But once we're inside of value, then I think you got a really nice trade down into 74, 50, 74, 75, 75, 75. I mean, this whole area between 74 and 76. You've got the naked close, you've got the VWAP, you've got the midpoint, you've got the naked VPOC, all right there, and that's our main target inside of range and value. In fact, I'm going to front run it right here at the 75.75 if they'll let me put it in. And then, of course, just below that, especially if we leave this overnight high alone on the open, and we get below this 93 and then get inside a range, then get inside a value, and we have not taken out the overnight high, you got to be looking for them to come down and take out this 71 and a quarter, and then continuation down into the 68.75. Look for that 80% destination trade for value area, and a travel through yesterday's value down into the value area low. And then below the 68.75, I don't need this anymore. I want to open this up. You've got 65 and a quarter. I'm going to use 65.75 because that was the IB low. And then below that, you've got the 63.50 CLVN, but I really don't think that that's going to be much of a magnet. I'm going to be looking at the 61.50, and then below that all the way down to 56. And then our ATR target to the downside changes from 45 yesterday to I messed it up. What is it? 1860. So that is just That is just below the range low. All right, and our ATR target to the upside is 1150. Let me just put it right here first. And I'm just going to take this and just delete that line and put this right at 1150. Oh, come on. All right, and I don't think we're going to get much lower, but if we do get below 56.50, next one would be 48 and a quarter with 49.75 just in front of it. And then all our numbers below us. There is the 77.75 just above this 75.75 at this little LVN, and I am going to use it as a trade area. I'm going to use it more as a add-on area where if we get inside a range and inside a value, then we break below this. I'm going to accelerate and add on to my trades into the 74 and 71 area. Now above, if we hold above 93 on the open, or we come down and reject the 89.75 and find responsive or initiative buyers down here, then I'd be looking for a move to test the 1900. Just before that, though, you've got 98.75. So I'd be watching that level, and if we get above that, then take out the 1900 and continue up into the 0250. The 04, 03, no, it is 04, 04. And we really don't have any strong resistance until we get into this 1908 and a quarter. But I'm really looking for a move up into 1150. And then we have that 1917 and a quarter. And this is critical mass. So that's our uncle line. If we stay below that, then you know, I would look for a move late in the day where they flush it. Could happen sooner, but you know, below that, and then above that, our main target above range and value, or next big target, is at 23. That is the most traded price going back into the breakout on the 20th. So that's my hypothesis for the day. Again, on the open, we're going to be opening up outside of range and outside of value. So look for initiative buyers to step in and take us right up to take out the overnight high and test the 1900s. If we see two-sided action, see if they find support here at 93.75, they get below that, look for them to come back down all the way into testing the range high in that 1889.75. And then if we get inside of there, a deeper move down, at least into the 1880 to test the value area high. This is a pretty thin area of the profile right now. Taking a look at the Keltner with Renko, currently right now our center line is at 97.50. A move down to the lower line brings us down to the 24-hour VWAP, and that test of that 91.50 target below us. We've got that LVN, CLVN at 93.75, what I was talking about. If we get below there, I think you got a good trade down into 91.50. Above the Keltner line, a move up to test the upper Keltner line, sorry, a move above the center line will take us up to the upper line, up at the 1903.75. Of course, I'm looking at the 1904, which is right there. Quick look at gold. There was a, let's see if it completed itself. So they're got a strong move down on gold. Remember, I'm looking with gold falling out of balance. I'm looking at that 1106 area for the next support to come in. Let me just bring the window up. So you can see that we've broken out of this value, that we're up here. I've added another micro composite. The overall balance area that we're in right now is VPOC is 1131, but with the breakout below the smaller balance that we were in, and we couldn't hold above, my next destination, as you know, is going to be down here at the 1107 area, especially if we break this 1112.70. If we hold the 1112.70, then I'd be looking for a rotation back up into the 1840 and a chop between 26.50, probably even only 22.30 and 18. But if we break the 12, then I think we're going to flush down to the 1107, especially if we see the ES get back up into the 1900s and we rally towards that 11. I think you'll see a bigger move in gold down to this 1106.60. Doubt we'll make it down to the 1100 today, but 1106 below 1270 is a real possibility. So that's what I'm looking at. Trading 95.25. We will have to wait to see if we get another VPOC change. Remember, we've got a 81.7% probability to take out this 96 right now. I think that's going to be done right on the open. If we open up in this area, they'll probably test even both sides of this 98.75 and 93.75 on the open, if we see initiative buyers stepping in. All right, so I'm going to take a break, come back and try to catch a trade on the open. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.